Hello, welcome to Greenwood Bonsai Studio here today. We're going to do a follow-up video. Many of you have asked us to do follow-up videos on a lot of the project trees we've worked on previously, and this is one we thought we'd show you how it's progressed. The channel's been going for a couple of years now. This particular tree we worked on about a year ago. It was quite wide, quite leggy, overgrown growth, and been trying to sort of chase it back and get a better shape into it. There's a little pop-up on the screen now for that video if you want to go back and revisit that. And we did that initial prune on this about a year ago. A little bit late in the year, we did it about August time. And the new growth just started to come through late in the year and then didn't really gain much traction, didn't really do too much. So it's been in the greenhouse since. And this spring, it started to put a lot of new growth out. You can see in a little clip from the first video of how severe we trimmed this tree back. There's a little clip now showing you me doing that work the first time around. Now, because Privet is really good for hedging, and most hedging plants, you can trim them quite hard back and they sprout. The Privet is no exception. It's one of the best trees for pruning hard back, so no prizes for guessing what we're going to do today. We're going to prune this Privet hard back, and I do mean quite hard back. We've got quite a lot of leggy growth. So where this branch comes out, for instance, look, we've got 12-14 inches of growth, just sporadic back shoots on it, and this is all too long. So now, after flowering, we're going to cut it hard back. We're going to then fertilise it, pop it in the greenhouse. We've got a good amount of sunny, warm weather here in the UK. Pop some feed on it, pop it in the greenhouse for a few weeks, keep it well watered, and hopefully we'll come back to it in a few weeks and show you how it's progressing. Like I said at the beginning of the video, it is a fairly drastic thing to be seen done, but it's not something that we don't do as bonsai enthusiasts. Sometimes you've got to take a step back with a tree and address any problems so that you can then go forward in the future with it. We're not trimming this tree today to look better. We're trimming this tree to be a better tree in a year or 2 years for the new owner. So a few people have commented on that video, say, oh, you've cut a lot back, it's a bit drastic, I hope you haven't killed the tree. You can't really kill a privet by pruning it. They're very, very good for hedging material, and you can cut them back to just a stump, cut the branches back really hard, and we know you can because we work on them a lot. So that's why we took this sort of this method with this tree. So now it's gone overgrown again. It's not as leggy as before, because before we've got a lot of really long branches with no growth on. What we've got now, the branches are tighter back in, but we've got new extension growth on them. So this next stage, which is slightly different than the first stage now, is for me to go back and just reduce these back, the long length back, to just 2 or 3 pairs of leaves. So we're keeping some foliage on. Here it's sprouted, there's a little stub where it didn't sprout back, so we can tidy some of those up. And then after this stage now, the next thing will be to just start, not let it grow this much and this wild again, so keep it trimmed back more, so we can start to develop the foliage pads. So at the moment, if I trim off stuff that's growing up too much, like this, and here you see in here, this is growing up too much here very strongly, this can shorten back. But in here, there's a few little stubs where we did cut it back and it hadn't sprouted. That's nothing really to worry about. We can remove those, take those back. This bit of growth here, look, is coming from over here. cutting across like that. Same with this section. We've also got down here at the back of the tree some sprouts, some suckers coming straight out of the trunk. Here, look, see this one that's growing up here? This is how vigorous it is, look. It's actually coming from right down here. So that can be removed. There's another one there. There's a little cluster of them in here we can take off. Try and get it a bit more organised. So here on this back branch, this is going to shorten back like this. Just a quick prune, little dead stub there. Just to develop these foliage pads. Some of this stronger growth we can take off. If it's growing, sending these suckers out that we don't need. Just pull these out. Can you see in here? It's sprouted from the trunk. We don't need that sprout. This one here I don't need. And this one, take those off. Shorten these back. And back up to this branch now. Just trying to get the makings of foliage pads. The progression of this tree has been really quite remarkable. Like I say, we did it a little bit late in the year. It got off to a slow start because it had just started to leaf out, and then winter came and it didn't really do much. And this spring I wasn't quite sure. We had quite a cold winter and some stuff was a little bit slow, but then this sort of started romping away and it's really quite good now. So we've revisited the tree. I've just finished pruning this privet back to get the foliage pads in place. Now we'll let this flush out again, but instead of letting it put out this much extension growth, we'll let it just put out a couple of inches of extension growth and then prune it back. We should be able to get that growth and prune it by the end of this year, so we might revisit this tree again. Don't forget to go back and watch the first video of this tree, because that was quite a drastic video. And when we're working with bonsai like this over many years, sometimes we do drastic work and it can look like you've sort of taken a step backwards at that point, but the reason you do it is so you can then take steps forward in years to come. So that's what we're trying to show with this particular process. I hope you enjoy the evolution of this tree. Please give us a subscribe and keep an eye out for more videos coming up very soon. Thank you very much.